In this video, I'll tell you 20 things that I've learned over the past year that has completely transformed my life. And these ideas are exactly what I would tell to my younger self if I could. So if you're someone who's in your early 20s, then try to incorporate a few of them because I can guarantee that it will completely transform your life. So the first one is the power of compounding. Of course, I knew this concept when people were talking about money because money compounds over time and money makes money was a very famous idea. But what I've realized over the years is that it's not just money. Your skill, your habits, and your knowledge compounds over time. It's just crazy how your brain connects multiple dots from like years ago of what you've done. So all I would say is just invest a little bit of time into learning a new skill or developing a new habit because that compounds over time. You don't need motivation to do that. You just need a little bit of discipline. The second thing is something called as the Pomodoro Technique. So I was in a phase where I wanted to put in the work, but when I sat in front of the computer, I used to work for 5 minutes and get easily distracted because there was some notification on my phone. That's when I came across this technique called the Pomodoro Technique. It's very simple. You just put a timer for 20 minutes and keep your phone aside. And your goal is simple. You need to focus on doing that work for at least 20 minutes without any distractions. And then once the 20 minutes is done, the timer will ring and you can take a 5-minute break and just repeat this. And over time, your productivity will increase. Now, what I like to do is add a bit of friction. So when I keep that timer, I usually keep my phone away from me. And me knowing that I'm lazy, I would never go up and get distracted. So I'll be just continuing to do the work. The one thing, I've struggled a lot with this, especially because I'm the kind of person who wants to do everything. And more often than not, I commit to a single thing, immediately switch over to something else because I felt that that was more necessary. And I used to feel like I'm doing so many things at the same time, but in reality, I'm not doing anything. Because in order to accomplish a certain thing, you need to focus a lot of time into that one thing. When you're constantly bouncing between ideas and tasks, you end up doing nothing. Or you end up doing a little bit of everything, but still, at the end of the day, you don't finish anything. The fourth thing is what I call the non-negotiables. There are these 4 buckets in life in which you need to pick at least one habit or a skill in each of these things. It's move, think, create, and meet. So move is where you have some physical activity going on. Probably it can be any sports, going to the gym, running, walking, any of that sort. Then think is where you involve your brain, some intellectual activity like playing chess, solving puzzles, reading books, or anything that involves your mind. Then create is where you have a creative outlet where you can express freely. It could be making videos, drawing, painting, dancing, writing, you name it. Meet is where you socialize with people. As human beings, we are social creatures and we need to acknowledge that. It doesn't mean that you just meet random people or go partying every day. It means that you need to meet people with intent. You only grow when you surround yourself with people who are better than you. The Pareto Principle. This is such a game changer. So usually what happens is we do a lot of things which are not really required. The thing that we should be focusing on doesn't get much attention. So the Pareto Principle says that 20% of the work gives you almost 80% of the results. And 80% of the work usually gives you 20% of the results. And this is true in so many cases. Even in my YouTube channel, over 80% of all my views has come from just one short, while the remaining shorts combined with my long form content has given me probably less than 20%. So you need to identify your 20% that gives you 80% result and work towards that. The power of why. This is popularized by Simon Sinek, where he says that if you're building a business, you usually think of a product or a service first. That's the what. And then you think about how you market it and sell it. And then finally, when someone asks you why exactly you're doing this, you think of the why. You think of the purpose. But Simon says you flip it. You think of the why first. You prioritize it so that you know exactly why you're in this, and then you figure out the what and the how. This simple change in thinking will allow your output to be cohesive. It'll enable a deeper connection between you and your target audience or your customer. The next thing is networking. This is very underrated. I don't know why nobody teaches us the importance of this. You need to be connected with the right people. And over time, this will open doors for you. Almost all the projects that I'm working with currently has come from my network. People who have seen me work, people who have seen my content and exactly identify me for what I do. And this has evolved because of the network I have developed over time. Which brings me to the next point, personal branding. You need to have a digital presence. And that can be built only when you put out something. People should know what exactly you stand for and what they can expect when they come to you. The Pygmalion Effect. This is an interesting psychological concept that I sort of learned recently. And it's that your expectation and goals have significant impact on your results. Which means that if I think I can be a millionaire in 5 years from now, there's higher possibility of me ending up being a millionaire in 5 years. And this works in a negative way as well. This is an interesting one. Be dumb. Do you know why most successful people that you see on TV, on social media are really dumb? And you ask yourself, how is this person there? I'm much smarter than this person. Well, because you are not dumb. They are. If a dumb person wants to start a YouTube channel, they will do it. They'll not think of anything else. But if I ask you to start a YouTube channel, then you'll think of 100 different ways why you should not, and the chances are that you never will. So stop overthinking. Be dumb, just do it. Work towards time. Time is the most important asset. Obviously, money is there, but what do you think people do with money? They unlock access to time because your time is valuable. If you do not value it, then somebody else will rent yours for theirs. This is an interesting revelation I had. If you do not have anyone directly dependent on you, then your risk appetite should be high. If you're privileged enough that you don't need to feed someone through a 9 to 5 job, then there's literally no reason why you should not take a risk. High risk, high reward. And even if you fail, you can still go back to what you were doing before. The power of gamification. You know why people play a lot of games? It gives them instant gratification. It makes you escape reality, which means that your life is not as interesting as a game. But what if you turn your life into a game? That's gamification. And for me, I'm trying to gamify my life through journaling. So every morning when I wake up, I write 3 things. 1 task that I want to achieve today, 1 win and 1 failure that I had yesterday. So I'll focus my energy and time during the day to complete that 1 task which I've written down. If it's not completed, it goes under the failure. If it's completed, it goes under the win. And every day I level up. It keeps me excited and gets the job done. Reading is essential. For a long time, I used to call people who read books as losers. And now I feel extremely stupid. Trust me when I say this that I've never read a book up until 2 months ago, except for maybe college and school textbooks. But reading is not just consumption. You're reflecting on the go. Whenever you read something, your brain connects the dots. There is a strong intellectual connection. And you reason everything, which means that there's deeper learning when you read something as opposed to when you watch something. And this is the power of reading because it sticks with you for a longer time. And if you read the right type of books, then there's no one to stop you. The next one is what I call the intent engine. Everyone has a dream life that they want to live. And if you see how people approach that dream life, it's usually they have this work life that they're currently part of. It could be a 9 to 5 job or it could be anything else. And with whatever free hours that are left, they try to build their dream life, which sounds good on paper, but in reality, there's a high chance that you'll never change your life because you're trying to fit your entire dream life in just 2 to 3 hours. But think about this. What if you could reverse engineer your dream life? Meaning, you first fixate on what exactly you want your life to be, and you can do that by choosing a few things that you really enjoy doing. For me, that's creating content, talking to people, teaching people what I know, and so on. And then in this dream life, with whatever time I have, I will focus on things that will make me money so that I can fuel my dream life. This is the intent engine. The upside of asking. As I previously said, I read my first book, which is The $1 Million Weekend. If I go and ask Elon Musk $1 million, the downside of this is that he can say no. But the upside is that he'll give me $1 million. If you just think about it, everything that you do in life ends up you asking for it. If you're applying for a job, you're asking. If you're trying to sell a product or a service, you're asking. And people hesitate a lot when they have to ask. But that should be natural. And that's the importance of asking. Next thing is the difference between wealth and salary. A lot of people are in this mindset where they think that earning a monthly salary is the only way they can survive. They have literally surrendered to the system where they think that they have to work for the next 60 years until their retirement to lead a peaceful life after they've retired. This is fine as long as you enjoy working for others. But if you want financial freedom, then you should be looking at building wealth and not just getting a salary. It's not easy. It definitely needs a lot of sacrifices. The importance of copywriting. Copywriting is essentially how you persuade someone through your writing. This is one skill. If you learn, you will be a successful person because you can persuade people to watch your videos. You can persuade people to buy your products. And no matter what business you sell, you can persuade people to join you in and invest in you. That's a superpower. The importance of having a YouTube channel. I've made an entire video about this topic alone. You can watch it right here. But YouTube as a medium to communicate is brilliant because you don't need to spend any money on it. It's free to upload, which means it's free marketing. But you need to have the intent to market and you need to know what to market. And over time, the skills that you accumulate in YouTube will have an amazing effect on your life. And finally, none of these points matter if you do not focus on your health because health is wealth. As cliche as it sounds, it's so true because almost anything in this list can be reversed except health. It's very hard when you trade in your health for something else because no matter what you trade again, you're never going to get that health back. So focus on staying healthy both mentally and physically because it's not worth building a dream life when you don't have enough of it.